Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening to some. My name is Tara, and welcome to what are we calling it? Teaching Toolbox Thursday. Woo, that's a mouthful. We are so excited to have you here. We're going to get started shortly. Tawnie is going to be leading this session. Yay, yay, yay. We have Tawnie back. And so I'm really excited about what will come out of this. As you guys are coming in, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself as we normally do in chat. Um, this is a digital workshop, so you know that we would love, love, love for you to also come on camera, come off mute. Definitely feel like you can pipe in. You can use the chat, but you can also go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you want to turn your camera on, you can do that too. So again, welcome. And let me see, let me get rid of this. This session is going to be recorded. So like we always do, it will be give it a few days, it'll go to our webinar recording library.
Oh, hi, Chino Valley. Oh, look at that. So
Oh,
close.
look at that. Yes, indeed. Hi,
Welcome,
Stephanie. I know that
Stephanie.
name. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Let me just do this really.
Oh, Canada. Wow. Hello, Susan. Have you been to any of our trainings? I know we've done a few up in Canada.
No, I haven't. This is my first one.
Oh, wonderful. So glad to have you. Thank you for popping on camera for a minute, Stephanie. Lovely to see a face.
So good to see that face. Awesome. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll do housekeeping after Tawnie. So
Okay.
you go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And then
When would you like me to stop so you can, like, how much time would you like?
I don't need a lot of housekeeping stuff. I just want to ensure that you guys all are familiar with our community. And if you're choosing to complete an evaluation, I'll make sure I pop that in there too, so that you can have access to the nice little, I call it a cheat sheet that's available once you complete that evaluation. So I don't
Awesome.
need much time at all. Okay, take it away, Tawnie. Thank you.
Thank you. So hi everybody, my name is Tawnie. I am one of the PD trainers with ViewSonic. I've also been an educator for a very, 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 very long time. I taught middle and high school mainly, briefly taught elementary in China and was like, I prefer sarcasm over energy. So I switched back to the big kids. And then I taught college for a while, and now I basically teach teachers. So today is really just going to be about some ways to take your already created curriculum and make it more interactive. So, I'd say most teachers nowadays have PowerPoints, slides, maybe formats from other types of websites they've used, like Canva or whatnot. And that's really where your curriculum rests, or it's within a curriculum website. So, how do we take those and turn them into more touch interactive curriculum pieces on the board? And so the goal today really is to kind of show you some easy ways to do that. So you're not recreating your curriculum all the time in order to have your kids up at the board doing things. So before I show you anything, will you let me know in the chat what grade and or subject you teach? So if you teach the littles, you can tell me just the grade, or if you teach a specific subject, you can tell me the specific subject regardless of age that you teach. If you're an admin or IT or whatnot, you can write that in the chat as well. Or you can absolutely turn on your audio so I know, but I want to make sure I give examples that are closest meet your needs. So let me know. High school science, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an IT coach. For some reason, my chat's not letting me type.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thank you for turning on the audio to tell us. Technology training, cool. 2 Canadians, yay! All subjects, grades 3 through 6. Oh my, okay. Tech trainer, wonderful. Okay, so you used to do language. Wonderful. There's a cool tool that we have in our toolbox for teaching other languages, which is really fun. Oh, that's so wonderful. I love home-based parents or teachers that come in here. My mom homeschooled a lot of my siblings for a good chunk of time. You get to do a lot of really fun interactive stuff when you're home. Okay, cool. Looks like we've got a gamut of different ages and ranges and specialties, math, all grades. Okay, cool. So I was an English teacher, and what I'm going to show you is based on that background, but the tools I'm going to show you can be used across the board. Okay. So the first thing I do want to say is you have to jump in if you have a question. I'm going to have you take a look at the software and like chunks of time as we're going through this time. So if you have a question or a response or you need something, just ask. This is very small. There's not like 100 people in here. And I just want to make this usable for you. So if we just do it a talk at you webinar, like you may as well just go on YouTube, right? This is supposed to be something where you're able to jump in. So if you have questions, please do that. Okay. All right. So I'm assuming that all of you either have or have access to one of our view boards and or our My ViewBoard software. If you don't have any of that, then this may not be as helpful for you as I would like it to be. If you do have both of those, then that's what this is about, is how to make your curriculum interactive on those boards or just as a whole, okay? So the boards themselves, if you've never done a training with any of us and you're just kind of winging it at your school, they have over 20 points of touch as a base, which means you could have 20 kids at the board at the same time. Now, I don't recommend that, but if you have 1, 2, 4, and they're up there and they're kind of moving things around and writing and interacting together or competing, cooperating, it doesn't really matter the learning goal, but if they're up there, it takes technology from being in this little bubble like this, like we all are on our computers and on our iPads and different surfaces, and makes it more stand-up whole body learning. And so the ways that are the techniques I'm going to show you today are for how to take your curriculum and make it more whole body. Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to open up our My ViewBoard software on my Windows device. Now, if you have this software already on your computer, you also can open it and go along with us as we do these different things. If you do not have it on your computer, but you have it on the board itself, you can absolutely open it there. So you can open it either place, or you can just keep in mind that it's there. Let me make sure that that is not a question in the chat. Oh, wonderful.
Just
Thank you,
Barry.
Barry. Yay, me too. Me too. Barry and I, we like these physical things. In fact, this is a picture that I took in one of our national parks, Bryce Canyon. So we're always out and about doing more physical things. So that's why we also believe in that when it comes to teaching. So, all right, let me go ahead and open up our software. It looks like this. So if you have seen this, played with this, trained on it, will you give me a thumbs up either in the chat or in your camera, just so that I can see that you know this or have known this? Or if you've never seen it before, you can type no. Like if you're like, I have no idea what that is, no problem. I'll tell you what it is then. But if everybody knows, we'll just jump right into it. No? Okay. Thank you, Adrian. Okay, we got Stephanie, Susan have seen it. Anyone else, you've seen this software before? Thumbs up, Brittany has, okay. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to assume that those of you who aren't answering either have seen it before. I'm just going to assume you have seen it before, actually. We're just going to assume that you have. Oh, okay, cool, awesome. That's most of you. So for those of you who haven't, and I know that one person said they had not, this is our My ViewBoard interactive software. So this software exists on your board if you have one. It's either a white box with the word My in it, kind of like this icon right here, except with a white background. Or if your board is kind of out of date, it'll be a yellow cloud that says My ViewBoard in it. So this software right here is our interactive software that ViewSonic has made for the classroom or for businesses, and it is where all of our interaction rests. As you can see, I had a pen, that's where it starts. So there's a lot of tools in here, and I'm obviously not going to show you all of them today, but I am going to start with kind of the basis for how you begin taking your curriculum and making it interactive in our software, and that's actually going to be through logging in. So I'm going to sign out so I can show you what the login looks like. So the login is in the bottom right. It is right down here, that little faces. In fact, when you open the software, you should get a pop-up, and that is going to be your sign-in. So it looks like this. Now, if your school has never connected with our system and you're not really 100% sure about what our software looks like or any of that, you may not have ever signed in before. If, however, your school or your district has begun using the software pretty effectively, you may have seen this before. So the way that you sign into it is by using this G for Google, the Microsoft icon, or the Apple, depending on your district's login. Or you can use our companion app, which is an app that you have on your phone where you scan this QR code. So if you don't sign in, you can still use a lot of these tools, but you won't be able to put your curriculum on here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and use my app to sign in. I'm scanning that QR code with our app. And if you want to check out the app more, I'll show you where you can find it. But it says, do you want to stay signed in? Yes, I do, because this is my computer. If it's not your computer, you don't have to stay signed in. If you don't have the app and want it, again, you don't have to have it. You can just click on one of those immediate login single sign-on icons, but the app is going to be in this top right-hand corner where that gear is. This is where you go, and as you can see, it literally has the word app. So when you click on this, you can scan that to get the companion app if you'd like. Okay, so once you're signed in, you will see your name or email up here, depending on if you've ever done a training and changed your name. It'll be your email as your base start. If you and your district have never done the connection between My ViewBoard and your ViewBoard accounts, definitely reach out to us and let us know, because we can help your district do that step so that you can log in and make sure you have access to all of our features, because there's a lot, okay? All right, so once we're signed in, I'm going to go to our number one most important, best tool, and it's the tool that reminds me the most of getting goodies, and that's the box right here, because it looks like an Amazon box. This is called the Magic Box, and forgive my writing, it is not great with a mouse on here. Magic Box. All right, there we go. Okay, so in the Magic Box, we're going to have all sorts of amazingness. But before I show you the amazingness, why don't you tell me in the chat, have you ever signed into the ViewBoard before? Just yes or no. Oh, God, a whole bunch of yeses. Wonderful. Okay, so for those of you who are saying no, I think that's just you, Adrian, so far. But make sure you check with us before you leave. And if your school has an account set up, you have an account, but if they've done the setup, then you should be able to sign into this. Even if you can't, though, you can do a lot of the things on here that I'm going to show you, so don't stress too much. If you have signed in, well, then here we go. We're going to jump into the Magic Box. So when I click on the Magic Box, you can see there's a ton of tools here. But the most important tool that I have here is this icon. Right now it's gray, but as you can see when I hover over it, it says import resources from Google Drive. So if you've done the connection step between your Google or OneDrive or any sort of like a cloud drive that you use and our software, then your drive will be right here. When you click on it, it turns the appropriate color. And now, as you can see, I can search for files. I can double click into these folders to get to the files. I always make the suggestion to star the files that you want to use on the board because it's easier than weeding through your entire giant drive where all of your curriculum is. So I'm going to go ahead because I've organized mine pretty well. I'm going to click through, as you can see, and go to the folder I want to get my curriculum from. Actually, I think I'm going to go, not this one, I'm going to go back up and go into this one. Okay, so here are different files that I have. As you can see, there's PDFs, there's a Google Doc, these are Google Slides. This is a syllabus. So to get any of these, and right now I'm going to get the slides, I'm just going to double tap or double click on it. As you can see, it's downloading. It's going to download a new file. So it's not going to be the file that exists within my drive, meaning whatever I do to this will not alter the one that sits in my drive. So I can select all, or I can just click on a couple that I want to import. So it's entirely up to you how many you have. And then I'm going to slide all the way over here to import landscape. The most important thing to know is if you do import as a background instead of as an object, all of these slides will come in as PDF backgrounds, which is fine if it's a worksheet, not fine if it has these embedded YouTube videos, because those will just come in as pictures. So select all or select the ones you want, import object to make sure that each of these becomes their own objects and do the job they're supposed to. And then we're going to hit import landscape. So here they are, all dropped in and ready for me to use. It goes back to the first page. And now I'm ready. The cool thing about the companion app, just so you know, is if you'd like to, you can actually use it as a remote control. So I'm holding my app back here and I'm clicking through the slides, as you can see. Oh, that was a weird middle thing on that one slide. All right, so the companion app can be fun for more than just logging in, okay? All right, once you have something, a slide deck or different things that like objects or videos or whatever that you drop in, once you have them in here, they become interactive. So you could even have that one kid that needs to stand up, go up and just hit the next arrow. Instead of using that companion app, they just come up here and they hit the next arrow to go to the next slide. Maybe that's their job. You can also, if you would like to, go into each of these locations and, as you can see, do different things with the words. So if you have the My ViewBoard app on your Windows device, we've got an icon here that looks like a book. This is called Immersive Reader. So if I click on this, this is going to take me to a pop-up that will read it aloud, the words, which is kind of true, but this is a book. That's why it's a title. And then right next to the words themselves are 3 icons. The center one here will identify the parts of speech. They will also show labels above them. It'll do syllable breaks. And then at the very end, let's say it's a large chunk of text, you can do a line focus as it reads it aloud for our kids that need help tracking. And you can translate it to all these languages for our language teacher who is in there. So I'm going to go to, let's do French Canadian. We got a couple Canadians in here. I don't know if you're from French Canada, but let's go ahead and choose that one. So then if I turn on whole document, that's how it translates the whole thing. And as you can see here, because it's a major language, it will still read it aloud. And when you click on the words themselves, you can see the 2 translations. And sometimes we get a picture dictionary for them as well. So These words, though they're on your original slide, are now interactive here. And you can have a kid go up and they can identify different parts to these words. Go ahead and come to this next page. I am not sure why this whole thing came in here like that. Let's just ignore that thing. I don't know where it came from. It's probably when I made the slides, I did something weird. But again, you can go ahead and click on any of these, and then you can see that they'll be interactive here. As you saw, I moved this whole piece as if it were an entirely movable object. You can also come up here to the hand tool, and you can zoom in and out and move it around as you're reading it, which is one thing I love to be able to do. If I have a room where there's a lot of kiddos and there's only, one board that's not maybe giant, sometimes it's harder for the kids in the back to read. So that zoom feature works. If I want to bring it back to 100%, I click the hand again, and then I'm just going to undo back to 100. Now, I don't really love that we're doing it on this page, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because these are the ones that are lined up. But in the magic box, so if you go back to the magic box, next to our cloud drive, so if you go right one, you see the protractor and the ruler and the pencil. These are our tools, and there's a lot of them in here. One of the ones I love is this magnifying glass and then the spotlight. These are two ways to be able to show something in a focused manner. So let me go ahead and double tap on the spotlight. As you can see with the spotlight, I have a circle or square. When I click on the square, I can actually make this longer, move it around. And then if I go to the gear, I can increase that darkness as well. So if I do that, I or my students, I can have them come up here and then they can show line by line as you guys read. If you don't want it read aloud, you just want them to focus on one little portion at a time. Okay, everybody, go ahead and read this one. Bandwagon appeals, urge people to do what everyone else is doing rather than think independently. So as I am going about teaching, I can just put this right on top of my slides because they're within the My ViewBoard software. Move them around, do whatever it is I'd like to do with them. And like I said, there's a circle or a square. I've also, like I said, in those tools have this magnifying glass. And so this can show you all of these in larger. And then if you have the Windows version, we also have a shade, and a shade will cover part of it at a time. So easy ways to take something you've already created and make it more interactive. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'm going to stop. Number one, see if you have questions. And then number two, I'm going to go ahead and have you go play with them for a second. So I went to the next page here and you can notice a couple things. One, there is a prompt. So there's a question here. Let me move my toolbar. It says, write and share an argumentative statement using the fallacy. Now, I could have them all do that independently, and I would call out, okay, the first one I want you to do is slippery slope. Everyone go ahead and write a slippery slope argument and share it with somebody. But one of the things I've noticed is, and you guys might be feeling this right now, the second a teacher starts talking for a little while, it turns into that Charlie Brown, wah, 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 and students don't catch it all. So one of the cool tools that we have, again, here in the magic box, right next to that sticky note in these math tool looking icons is the dice. So I'm going to click on that dice and bring it out here. Number one, it rolls. Number two, you can have up to 9. You can make it larger if you'd like to. But for the sake of this lesson, I'm going to bring it back down to 1. And then I'm going to click on the gear. And this gear allows me to edit this. If I come down to the bottom right, see there's an A. This allows me then to type my fallacies. And I would probably prep this beforehand, but this is a great way to make this interactive for your students. If you do not have six-sided dice, you can make these extras blank, or you can write something like your pick, which is a fun one for students. And then we'll make this one blank. All right, so now that I've made each of these, I'm going to hit this back arrow. And now you can see I've turned it into a singular dice. I'm going to put it below my words. So instead of me picking the fallacy, I'm going to have one kid come up and just tap on that roll. All right, scare tactics is the one that you're going to write and then share with your neighbors. Once they're finished with that, next student comes up and they roll the dice, slippery slope. And so this is a great way, again, to just add a little bit of interaction between students and their seats. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you on this page before you're going to practice and let me know if you have any questions is this area here. You see I've got 4 YouTube videos. One of the coolest things about using YouTube videos within our software is that you can, I'll go ahead and show you. I'm going to hit this little circle with the square inside of it. You can turn this full screen. And then once I press play, you're going to see I love Old Navy. Okay, so as you can see, what it did is it jumped immediately into the video. I did not get any ads. So any YouTube video you use within our software will be ad-free. And I didn't have to go get this YouTube video, although you can. In the magic box, you can see there's the YouTube icon. I can search for a YouTube video right in the moment, or I can have students do it. So I have a student come up here and they write bandwagon commercial, hit enter, and then there we go. So we've got these bandwagon, the exact one that I have here. So if they are up there and they're doing this maybe as a station activity, or they are, you want, kids to come up and be more interactive, this is another thing they can do. And so once they find the video they want, they just double tap or double click on the words. And now you can see it pops out here. So you can have these videos already in your slides, or you can find them in the moment. And so that makes it full screen. Then you can come back to small screen, but this will eliminate all the ads in there. And I love that about the Magic Box. It makes it really easy to be able to use YouTube. And I love getting rid of the ads. There's nothing worse than trying to start a lesson and having to wait for, 30 seconds for it to be like, welcome to Grammarly. How do you feel about your words? You're like, I just want you to stop talking. So it's one of the awesome tools to help with that quick interaction and ability to use the board. I'm going to come down to this floating toolbar here, and I was using the arrows to go through the pages, but if I click on the number 4 here, this is going to give me a little pop-up menu. And in the pop-up menu, I'm going to scroll back up to the first page. I could click through them, but this is kind of faster for me. So we're going to come back to the Magic Box, and I'm going to go ahead and type here the things that I showed you in the Magic Box. So number 1, you have your cloud drive. Oops, popped right out of that. So number 1, you have your cloud drive. Number 2, you've got our interactive tools. So that would be like the magnifying glass, or like the dice, or the shade. And if you teach math, we've got tons of math tools like a ruler or a protractor. So these are all our interactive tools that are there. And then we've also got YouTube. So you can bring the YouTube in through your cloud drive, or you can do a search for the YouTube. Okay. And so one other thing to know that I showed you very briefly is all of your text. So anytime you have text, it's come through with your cloud drive, or you type it with our T for text tool, you're going to get the immersive reader. So this is not in the Magic Drive. This is in the little pop-up menu that comes with the words. Immersive Reader is how you can turn your text interactive without having to open a bunch of other apps. All right, I'm going to stop. And number one, I'm going to see if you have any questions. So I know that we've got some wonderfully helpful coworkers of mine in here who have been, I'm sure, answering questions. Yeah, I see Barry did. Thanks, Barry. But if you would like to ask a question, I'm going to go ahead and pause and you can ask right now. Lizzie, good question. Can you click on hyperlinks in the slides? You absolutely can if you imported them as an object, like Barry said. So Adrian, I'm not sure if you'll be able to import your drive just because you said you've never seen this software before. I think that was you, if I'm correct. So if you're not able to do it, hang in there afterwards and I'll kind of walk you through a couple things to make sure you can. Anyone else have a question? Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is, oh, you're in. Yay! I'm so glad to hear it. Okay, so what I'm going to have you guys do is I want you to go try these. Go see if you can do them either up on the board itself or if you have the software on your computer. And look at a slideshow of yours or look at some documents or a PDF lesson you have, or, you know, even if it's a like a worksheet that you bring in, if you want to add a ruler to it or add the dice to it, or if you want to add any of the tools just to turn it slightly more interactive and see what it looks like. Even having them come up and write on the board as opposed to doing it in their seat will already add to the interaction. So go ahead and go play for a second and we'll hang in here and answer any questions you have. And then I'll show you just a couple more things. I'm going to turn my mic off so that you guys can go play for a minute. Although please feel free to get on your mic and ask me questions.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
I use my board sometimes connected to my computer, but I also use it as a standalone device sometimes. And I am able to change the weight of the pen if I change it through the computer. But when I'm using it as a standalone, I cannot set the weight of the pen. I have to reset it every day when I'm working with my kids.
So
Is it?
Ruth Ann, are you talking about the pen on the little side toolbars? They look like a Dorito chip on the side.
No, I'm talking about like just the interactive pen where the kids write or I write the number of units that we have or whatever.
Is it within this
comes out
software?
really, really fine, and I want to change the weight to a heavier weight, which I have to do at the start of the day every day because it doesn't, I can't make it stay.
Gotcha. Are you talking about within the software?
Yes.
Okay, so you can do it on the board, but not on your computer software. That's what you're saying?
No, I can do it.
Oh, vice versa.
I can't do it on my board.
Gotcha.
I can put the software and set it like I want it and it'll stay there. But
Gotcha.
when I'm using the device as a standalone device, not connected or not
Right.
using the computer.
Okay, and you're talking about within the software in both places.
What do you mean in both places?
So you're saying when you're using the software on the board or the software on your computer, you're able to adjust the size or the weight of the pen, but on the board in the software, you can't.
Right. I want it
Okay.
to be a default thicker.
Gotcha. So for you to have default choices, you have to do that within the My ViewBoard account and you have to be signed in. So I'll show you how to do that. I'll tell you how to do that. But before we get that, just in case to troubleshoot, when you're on the board using the stylus, remember that the pointy side of the stylus is always a pen, and then the thicker side of the stylus is any other tool you want. So if
Right.
you go to write with the pointy side and it becomes that thin line, you can change it by touching the pen tool with the pointy side and then increasing the size of that pointy side. You can do that with the round side as well, but the pointy side is what comes out really thin in general. It will not
I have a mini
stay.
view board and it doesn't have a stylus.
Okay, gotcha.
I only have 4 kids, so I have the mini view board, which is just perfect for my tiny little preschool with only a small
Yeah.
group.
That sounds so fun. So do you use your finger then, or they use their fingers in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we write with our fingers.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just on here where the pen adjustment is. If it's not
Right.
sticking, I'll show you where you can do that in your account. Okay.
Thank you.
So when you click on the pen, you click on it a second time. That's where you get all the colors.
Right.
So the weight is this first one here.
Right. That is what I have to do every day at the start of the lesson.
Gotcha. And does it stay all day or no?
It stays until I close out that file and then go back to my computer file, and then the one that I have saved there stays.
Gotcha. So one thing I will say is don't exit out of this. Instead,
Okay.
just switch to your computer and then switch back to this software. That will keep the software open, and whatever you've chosen in the beginning, it will stay open. But the other thing
Okay.
is that if you log in, you'll be able to then keep the size that you set it at through your login. So I'll show you where to do that in myviewboard.com. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so just pause for a second. I'm going to bring everybody back to the plane, and I'll show you guys where to do some of that customization actually in this next portion. So this next portion, I'm going to show you a tool, and then that'll take us to the customization page, and I'll show you where you can do it there. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, of
I'll
course.
mute again now.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to get back to Ruth Ann's question, which is a great one. But how did you guys do playing with it? Anyone need help? Have any questions? Got stuck?
How did you add the YouTube videos?
Wonderful, great question. Thank you so much. So again, we come back to the magic box. And then this is the YouTube icon. So you type in whatever you want to search for. Let's say you want to listen to 8 hours of jazz, right? So I type it in, I hit search or enter. And then the most important thing is don't press play. If you press play, you're just going to get a preview. You'll see as I press play, it didn't come out of the magic box. I didn't open my Amazon box, okay? So the way that I get it is I double click the words or double tap the words. Once I do that, here it is onto my view board. I can move it around. If it's just listening like jazz, I can take the corner, make it smaller, and then touch the beige bar and move it up out of the way so they just have the music playing. If it's instructional, the circle with the box is what makes it full screen. Make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
thank you
cool.
so much.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and move on to see a couple other ways to make your already curriculum more interactive. And then I'll make sure to show you where you can get some of this customization as well as some of our additional resources, okay? All right, so the magic box is where you can get most of these kind of interactive pieces. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to my 5th slide. These were all snippets of examples of logical fallacies. So these are all fallacies that I had been teaching, and I wanted my students to identify them. Now, I could move them out of the way, have the one here, and then say, hey, Johnny, go ahead and read this for us. So Johnny goes, you have a transit flight via Frankfurt Airport, Germany. On the way to your gate, several passengers hastily bump into you without even apologizing. You conclude that Germans are so rude. Now, that whole chunk of time that Johnny is reading aloud, there's about 5 kids who have been lost. And that's going to make it so that you're losing some kids in an activity where it's 1 versus 1. But if I use the select tool, that green arrow with the lasso, and I move these all together in the center, just going to put them all together. I pulled this in from my slides. I'm not looking for it right now, although I could look for it right now if I wanted to. But I did this before, you know, I had my lesson prep in the beginning of the school year. So now I put them all in the center. We have a really cool tool. Now, I know a lot of you, I'm sure, have graphic organizers from the years of teaching that you've been doing. But I do know when I first started teaching, you know, we'd make a Venn diagram by using two cans to do circles. And then later on, you could find them online. Nowadays, it's kind of hard. So many of them are watermarked. You have to pay for them. So what we've done as a company is we made a bunch. They're down here where this little mountain in the circle is. These are our backgrounds. So although this gray space was great for my Google slide that I made, it's not really what I want for an interactive feature. So I'm actually going to circle all of these together and shrink them so they're smaller. Look at that, just because I put them on top of each other, now I can interact with them at the same time. And then I'm going to come down to this mountain. This mountain is our background. So you've got, this is one that I saved onto the computer. I also have different colors if I want to. I've got our basic backgrounds that you have access to even when you're not signed in. But then right next to that, this little swirly primary color bird, these are all of our backgrounds. And we've got hundreds. There's so many and they're really amazing. But this is a lot to look through right now. So the page that I'm going to show Ruth Ann how to change her pen is the same page where I can show you how to do this. Make favorites. So these are my favorited backgrounds. These are all the ones that I love to use regularly. And this first one right here is just a basic graphic organizer. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to say apply to this page. When I do this, it does not change the slide as it is in my Google Drive. This is now a brand new file. And in that file, I have made a bank here where all of our different sentences are going to go. And then I've got these 4 different spaces. And I think I'll get rid of this bar at the bottom. I don't need that. It'll let me. Yeah, there we go. Get rid of these bars. Okay, so into these 4 spaces, I can have students, instead of identifying out loud these different fallacies, they can come up and they can move them into the boxes. So I come to this first box here, and I'm just going to type slippery slope. So every sentence that is a slippery slope argument, they're going to drag one of these. And you can have a few kids up here doing it and the other kids can yell them out, or you can make it a station activity. So let me finish writing these. So scare tactics and then hasty generalization. Those are the 3 I did, right? Oh, I can't see my typing. There we go. Hasty generalization. So I can make this a whole student activity, or I can make it a station activity. And this is my favorite thing when making things interactive. So I'm going to come back up here to this number 5 where all my pages are. So here's this lesson. I mean, this activity I just made. Again, I can have 1 or 2 students up there dragging them and everyone yelling out where they go. Or I can make it a station activity. I can make groups of 3 or 4 or 5. And then I'm just going to hit this blue on blue piece of paper, and this is going to duplicate that activity. It takes all of these different, all of these different words with it. I mean, all of these different identification sentences with it. And so the next page is going to have the exact same thing, and these are all movable. So putting the, duplicating the pages does not take just the background. It takes everything that's on the page. That includes links, YouTube videos, any of these kind of dropped in tools, the dice it will take. The only ones it won't take are overlay tools like that shade, but everything else will come with the duplication. So now I just have the students come up and they write their names. Here's Joe and etc. And then they go ahead and they drag these in. these go here, and this one goes there, and this one goes here. And they can move them at the same time as well. It's not one person at a time. They can all be moving. Oh, I don't think that one goes there, and they can move it back over. So in the making of interaction, I didn't do a whole lot else to my already created curriculum except add this background and then type in these identifications, which you could have done beforehand if you wanted to. And these can be sentences. They don't have to be screenshots of sentences. I just didn't want to type up a whole bunch of fallacies on my own. So I got them online. So another great way to take already created curriculum and make it interactive, either as a station activity or with a few students at the board at the same time. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you one more. We'll see if you have any questions, and then we'll call it a day. So this is a fun one that you can do virtually, even if you ever have students who are not in the classroom at the moment, but still engaged like we did during the pandemic. So you have a question on the board. It's on your slide already. So they could write that answer. They could type it up, or back to our magic box, we have a tool. It looks like fireworks, like pop rocks. This is called our pop quiz tool. Now, you can write a question in the moment if you want to, or you can hide that question and have your already written question right here. So my question is, what are some ways to avoid using fallacies in your arguments? So this is a way to make your lesson interactive without students coming to the board. So here's my question. The way I get them to answer is on this bottom right, this tiny QR code. I'm going to click on it. And all they have to do is go to this link right here, myviewboard.com/TawnieB. You can also scan this if they have a camera with a QR scanner on their computers, or on a phone if you allow those in class. So why don't you right now go to myviewboard.com/TawnieB, or scan this with your phone and answer this question. What are some ways to avoid using fallacies in your arguments? If I even get just one answer, we're good, but I'm hoping a few of you will be able to. So with my college class, I'd be like, I'm just going to wait. I'll answer it myself too. So here I am on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and answer this. Like, I haven't studied logical fallacies since freshman English. Okay, I set my answer. There it is. And so I can go ahead and hide this. Yay, thanks, Carissa. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at these answers. Now, I can uncover them both, or I can do one at a time. If I open that question part back up at the top, I can make this larger. Oh, I don't know if I can do it on my computer right now. When I'm sharing this, it's kind of hard, but you can make it larger by doing a touch and hold, which is a right click on your screen. And then you can actually write on here. So you could take these colors and you can write, good job, great answer, give me some more explanation, or whatever it is. But this is a great way to have students interact from their seats to the boards, is through this. So that's a good answer, Carissa. Thanks for responding. You get an A+ in class. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. I should have showed you. I was going to show you from here, but in here. Oh, we got another one. Oh, thanks, Brittany. Solid evidence. Beautiful. Yay, freshman English. Okay, so before I leave the question, I can come down here to the floppy disk, and I can save this whole response to my drive, which is great for, Ruth Ann too, thank you, which is great for if you have like entrance exit tickets. A fantastic way to just quickly save. Like I didn't have to look at any of these. I could have just said, awesome, I have everyone's answers in. I'm going to save it and grade it later. I don't know about you, but when I had exit and entrance tickets, they just went to the trash. I was consistently like, really? 150 little pieces of paper, and 4 of them have badly drawn anatomy, and 5 of them, have a name. The rest don't. It was a lot. I loved the idea, but it was a lot when you got a lot of students. So this is a great way to do one of those quick checks or an entrance exit ticket, and then you can save it right to your drive. You just name it, put it in the folder you want to put it in, and then, you don't have to name it. Sorry. You just put it in the folder you want, and you hit a check mark, and it will save as the pop quiz for today. I'm not going to save this one. See, Ruth Ann. Oh, it came through, but I don't think there's words on it, but that's okay. So again, one more way to interact with the board. So I'm going to show you guys where you can find those favorited backgrounds so that you can pick the ones you want. I'm just going to go ahead and add to this list. So in this, you've also got pop quiz, and then on this toolbar here, you've got your pages. And remember, you can duplicate pages. You can also delete. Delete pages if you need to. You can move them. So that's how you interact with your pages. And then down here in the bottom left, where that mountain is where we get our backgrounds. So I'll show you where you can favorite them if you have some you want to use, because remember, like I said, when we click on the swirly bird, there are so many of them. And so if you favorite them, you can have the ones that you want to use pretty regularly. You can also print these if you want. Okay, before I take you there, if anyone would like to screenshot or take a picture of this so that you have the information of the interactive tools that we talked about today, and then I'll take you to the screen where you can do your favorites and customize your pen. So go ahead if you would like to. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take you to, let's see, there were questions. Make sure the questions got answered. So Lizzie, if you have the ViewBoard itself, you have the paid version. Your school just might need to do the connection between your accounts and the boards themselves and their own account within our ViewBoard. So if you don't have access to that, it just means that we have to do that connective piece. So you would need to get your tech department and us connected so that you guys can do that. But you do have access to all of that. Okay, let me go ahead and show you where the customization is so you can get those favorites. We also got a ton of interactive lessons if you want those as well. So this is myviewboard.com. And if you have ever connected your Google Drive, you've seen this location before. So within myviewboard.com, if you go up to the top right, let me go ahead actually and use this guy to write on this. All right, so if you come up here in the top right, where my little face is there, you might have a little head and shoulders icon. This is going to be where your settings are. So when I click on it, I'm going to go to my settings here. So when I click on settings, number 1, if you need to connect your cloud drive, it's right here in app and cloud integration. But for Ruth Ann and anyone else who wants to customize their stylus, you go to your preferences and then you scroll down and here's the pen settings. So Ruth Ann, if you come in here and you change your pen width, the thin and the thick tip to 3, 4, 5, depending on what size you'd like it to be. You can also customize the color, and then you scroll down and you hit save. This is also how you can customize the size of the font as well. So just make sure you hit save before you head out. Make sure you want to save, confirm, and then those will all be set for you. See. Awesome. Wonderful. Glad you got that. Okay. So for everybody, if I click on my view board again, so let me get out of the pen markings I put on there. So in my view board, if you click right here in the center in ViewSonic Originals, this is where you can see those backgrounds. So I'm going to click on it. And you can see there's lessons here that you're welcome to utilize. But right next to the lessons, that little mountain again, these are our backgrounds. And once you find one that you like, let's go to geography, for example, you click on it, and that's add to favorites. So you just add it to favorites. It'll show up in the swirly bird of the mountains on your My View Board account when you're signed in. You can also download it right here if you'd like. All right, I'm going to go ahead and come back to my view board right here. Before I hand it over to Tara to go ahead and talk to you about our community, which is right here and really awesome, do you have any questions for me about my view board or about using the board interactively? You're using your software interactively as well. Anybody? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to Tara. She's going to talk to you about community. Thank you guys so much for listening and joining us today. That was fun for me, at least. I hope it was fun for you also.
That was awesome, per usual. Thank you, Tawnie. Thank you, thank you. And I appreciate the interaction from you all. That's what just adds to this time together. So I appreciate you all for that. I just wanted to wrap up quickly because I know our time is coming to an end. I'm putting in the chat a resource link for you all to use. I mentioned there's a golden nugget at the end of the of our time together. If you go to this site, by virtue of you all being in this virtual experience, that lets me know that you're in the community. So you guys are community members already. So if you go to if you click on the link that I've just dropped into chat, it's going to take you to our resource page, which is going to have you complete an evaluation. I'm going to share my screen really quick so I can guide. Oh, look, well, there it is. Thank you, lover. So it's going to take you here where this is the golden nugget, the golden ticket that I was referring to. It's a cool cheat sheet, if you will, to really help jog your memory about some of the tools that Tawnie went through during our time together. So you definitely want to have that. It's also going to provide you, as you can see with hyperlinks, that's going to take you into our community that Tawnie also referenced. But then if you keep on going, you're going to see some cool videos I recommend. But here's the evaluation. You can either scan the QR code now, or you can click this form if you've already gone into the link I've provided. Completing that evaluation will ensure that you get all of these things sent to you via email. So I would recommend completing that. When you click on that evaluation form, you guys are doing, if you keep scrolling, when it asks you what course you're taking, keep scrolling towards the bottom. It says Educator Community Webinar. That is what you have successfully completed. And it will also, and of course, your person was Tawnie. Okay, so you can fill in her name, Tawnie Black, put that in. And again, it's Educator Community Webinar, and then fill that out and submit it, and then it will capture again your email information to send you back in return a link so that you can get back to that super cool cheat sheet that I just showed you, or resource page, as well as it'll provide you with your certification for completing this particular training event. Questions for me on that? Any questions? I would encourage you all to, like I said, this has been recorded in our community. We have a fabulous now, and it gets better and better as we go through these Teaching Toolbox Thursdays. We have a really good webinar library whereby you can go back and listen to any of these recordings, and you can do it at your pace and on your time frame. And so you'll be able to take notes, or what I know a lot of you all do, because you tell me when we're at conferences together, is you kind of splice it up, and that's what you push out to your teachers. So know that they're there for you to utilize in that manner, or again, for self-learning. Okay. Questions, comments? Okay, we're always running incentives in the community. I would encourage you to tell others about it so that they can participate. We have a new member incentive happening now, so join. Hopefully you will tell folks to join, or if you have joined the community between, gosh, what was it, Tuesday through Tuesday, because again, you're in this workshop, I will make sure that you do a post so that I can enter you into that giveaway. Okay, I'm done, and it's 3:30 in California. So thank you again. Appreciate you all. I hope to see you in 2 weeks for another Teaching Toolbox Thursday. Bye. Thank you, Tawnie.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
you.
for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.